My dad gambled away my dead mother's life insurance. My name is Rebecca, and I never thought I'd be the person who blocks their own father's number. But here I am, staring at my phone at 2 in the morning, reading a text from a woman I haven't spoken to in a decade. The message was simple, cold. Your father has stage 4 pancreatic cancer. He has weeks, maybe days. We need $8,000 for hospice care. You owe him this much. I actually laughed. Not a happy laugh. The kind that comes from somewhere dark inside you when the universe decides to test just how much irony you can handle. Let me back up. My mom died when I was 19, ovarian cancer. She fought for 2 years, and I watched every second of it. I dropped out of college to take care of her because Dad was always too busy with work to be there. Work meant the casino 40 minutes from our house in Henderson, Nevada, but I didn't know that yet. Mom had a life insurance policy. $300,000. Before she passed, she made me promise I'd use some of it for school. She grabbed my hand with those thin fingers that used to be so strong and said, "Becca, baby, you finished that degree. You become something. Don't let anyone tell you you can't," I promised her. I meant it. She died on a Tuesday. The funeral was Friday. By the following Wednesday, Dad had already met Candace. Candace was a blackjack dealer at the Sunset Station. Bleached blonde hair, fake nails so long I don't know how she dealt cards, and a smile that never quite reached her eyes. She was 42. Dad was 56. Mom had been gone exactly 9 days when he brought her to our house for dinner. I should have seen the red flags. All of them, bright and waving, but I was drowning in grief, and Dad seemed happy for the first time in months. I thought maybe, just maybe, he deserved some happiness too. I thought I was being selfish for feeling uncomfortable. Candace moved in 3 weeks later. The life insurance money came through about a month after the funeral. Mom had set it up so Dad was the beneficiary, with the understanding that he'd handle everything properly. Set up a trust for me, pay off the house, invest the rest. I trusted him. Why wouldn't I? He was my father. I should mention that I had moved back home after Mom got sick. I had been at UNLV studying journalism, living in a dorm. But when she got really bad, I came home. After she died, I was still there, sleeping in my childhood bedroom with the glow-in-the-dark stars on the ceiling that Dad had put up when I was 7. One morning, about 6 weeks after Mom passed, I came downstairs to find Candace sitting at the kitchen table, painting her nails. She didn't look up. "Morning," I said. She blew on her nails. "Your father and I need to talk to you tonight." Something in her tone made my stomach drop. "About what?" "Tonight," she repeated. Dad came home early from work. Actual work this time. He was a project manager for a construction company. Good job, decent money. Or it had been decent money before. We sat in the living room. The same living room where Mom and I used to watch cooking shows together, where she taught me how to fold fitted sheets, where we'd spent her last Christmas watching It's a Wonderful Life while she dozed in and out on the couch. Candace sat close to Dad on that same couch. Too close. Possessive. "Rebecca," Dad started. And I knew it was bad because he never called me Rebecca. I was always Becca. "We've made some decisions about the future." "Okay," I said slowly. Candace jumped in. "Your father and I are getting married. We're going to start fresh. Build a new life together." I felt like I was underwater. "Married?" "Mom's been gone for 6 weeks. People grieve differently, sweetheart," Candace said. But the way she said sweetheart felt like acid. Dad wouldn't meet my eyes. "And we've decided to invest the insurance money." My blood went cold. "Invest it?" "Mom wanted that money for—" "Your mother wanted us to be happy," Candace interrupted. "And your father has been carrying the weight of this family for too long. We're going to invest in a business opportunity. A friend of mine is opening a restaurant, and we're going to be silent partners." I looked at Dad. "You can't be serious." He finally looked at me, and I saw something I'd never seen before. Weakness. "It's a good opportunity, Becca. We could double the money, triple it. Then there would be plenty for your school, and Mom wanted me to go back to school now," I said. "That was the whole point. That was her dying wish." Candace sighed dramatically. "You're being very selfish right now. This is about securing all of our futures." "All of our futures?" I stood up. "You've known my father for 9 weeks." "Rebecca, sit down," Dad said, and his voice had an edge I'd never heard before. I sat. Not because I wanted to, but because I was in shock. "The money is in my name," he said. "Legally, I can do what I want with it. But I'm trying to include you in this conversation because you're my daughter, and I love you. If you loved me, you'd honor what Mom wanted." Candace made a little noise in her throat. "Oh, here we go. The guilt trip. Listen, honey, your mom isn't here anymore. Life moves on. You're 19 years old. You're an adult. Maybe it's time you acted like one and got a job instead of expecting handouts." I looked at my father, waited for him to defend me, to say something. He said nothing. I went to my room and cried for 3 hours. 2 months later, they got married at a chapel on the Strip. I wasn't invited. I found out from a Facebook post the restaurant investment fell through. Of course it did. The friend disappeared with $120,000. Just vanished. No business. No restaurant. No trace. Dad started gambling to try to make back the money. That's what he told me anyway during one of our increasingly rare conversations. He was going to win it back. He had a system. He was good at poker. He wasn't good at poker. Within 6 months, the $300,000 was gone. Every penny. The house went into foreclosure. Dad's credit was destroyed, and I was still living at home, working double shifts at a coffee shop, trying to save enough to go back to school on my own. Candace started to change around this time. Or maybe she'd always been this way and just stopped hiding it. She'd make little comments. Must be be nice to live rent-free while everyone else works. Never mind that I was working 45 hours a week and giving Dad money for groceries. She'd use my things and deny it. My shampoo, my makeup, even my clothes. I found her wearing my mom's necklace once, the silver one with the small diamond that had been my grandmother's. When I asked for it back, she said it was hers now. That Dad had given it to her. Dad confirmed this. Said Mom would have wanted Candace to have it. I stopped talking to him for a month after that. Things got worse when they had to move out of the house. They rented a small apartment in a bad part of town. There was only one bedroom, and Candace made it very clear I wasn't welcome. You're an adult now, she said. Time to get your own place. I was 20 years old. I had $800 in savings. I ended up renting a room in a house with 4 other people. It was all I could afford. The room was barely bigger than a closet, and I could hear everything through the thin walls, but it was mine. I picked up a third job, working nights at a grocery store stocking shelves. I was exhausted all the time. I was angry all the time. I grieved my mother all the time. Dad and I would meet for coffee occasionally. He looked terrible, gray, thin. His hands shook. He swore he was going to fix things. He just needed one good night, one big win. Candace never came to these meetings. She said I made her uncomfortable. On my 21st birthday, Dad forgot to call. Candace posted pictures on Facebook of them at a casino buffet, celebrating her birthday, which was 2 weeks away. I cried myself to sleep that night in my closet room, wondering how my life had become this. Then things got really bad. I was 22 when it happened. I had finally saved enough to take one class at community college. Just one. Introduction to Media Studies. It wasn't much, but it felt like keeping a promise to Mom. Dad called me on a Tuesday night. He sounded weird. Off. Can you come over? He asked. We need to talk. About what? Just come over, please. I drove to their apartment. It was in a complex that had seen better days. Broken playground equipment, graffiti on the walls. Dad's car wasn't there, but Candace's was. She answered the door. Oh good, you actually came. Like, where's Dad? Working late. Come in. I should have left. Every instinct told me to leave, but I went in. The apartment was messy. Fast food containers on the counter. Laundry piled on the couch. It smelled like cigarettes, even though Dad didn't smoke. Candace did, apparently. Want a drink? She asked. No thanks. What did Dad want to talk about? She poured herself something brown from a bottle I didn't recognize. Actually, I'm the one who called. I used his phone. Why? She sat down on the couch, crossed her legs. We need to have a conversation. Woman to woman. I stayed standing. About what? About you letting go. Excuse me? She took a long drink. Your father feels guilty about you. All the time. It's exhausting. He can't move forward with his life because you're always there, judging him, making him feel bad about your mother. I felt heat rise in my face. I don't make him feel anything. He gambled away money that was supposed to what? Pay for you to go to college? Rebecca, you're 22 years old. Most people have loans. Most people work their way through school. You act like you're the only person who ever had to struggle. My mother died 2 years ago. How long are you going to use that as an excuse? I should have walked out. I should have left right then. I'm not using anything as an excuse. You just think everyone owes you something, she interrupted. You think the world should stop because you had a hard time. Well, guess what? Life is hard for everyone. Your father lost his wife too. Did you ever think about that? He was grieving too, but he had to deal with you being dramatic and needy on top of everything else. My hands were shaking. If Dad feels this way, he should tell me himself. He's too nice. He feels sorry for you. She poured another drink. But I don't. I see you for what you are. A spoiled little girl who can't accept that her daddy moved on. You're drunk. I'm honest. She stood up, swaying slightly. And here's some more honesty. Your father and I are trying to have a baby. We're trying to start a real family. But we can't do that with you hanging around, being a constant reminder of his old life. Something broke inside me. A real family? I'm his daughter. You're a grown woman who needs to get her own life. She moved closer. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to stop calling. Stop asking for coffee dates. Stop making him feel guilty. You're going to let him be happy. Does Dad know you're saying this to me? She smiled. It was terrifying. Your dad does whatever I tell him to do. You haven't figured that out yet? I turned to leave. That's when she grabbed my arm. We're not done talking, she said. I pulled away. Don't touch me. She grabbed me again, harder this time. Her nails dug into my skin. You don't walk away from me. I pushed her off. Not hard. Just enough to get free. But she was drunk, and she was wearing heels, and she fell backward into the coffee table. Glass shattered. She screamed. I stood there, frozen, watching blood bloom through her white shirt. You psycho! She shrieked. You attacked me! I didn't. You grabbed me. She pulled out her phone. I'm calling the police. You broke into our home and assaulted me. That's not what happened. But she was already crying into the phone, telling the operator that her stepdaughter had attacked her, that she was bleeding, that she was scared. I ran. I got in my car and drove. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold the wheel. I went back to my rented room and sat on the floor trying to process what had just happened. The police came 2 hours later. Candace had pictures. Her arm where I'd grabbed her. The cuts from the broken glass. The destroyed coffee table. She had a witness too. A neighbor who heard her scream. I tried to explain. Tried to tell them she'd grabbed me first. That I'd just been defending myself. They looked at my arms. No marks. No bruises. Sometimes in these domestic situations, the older officer said, not unkindly, it's best if everyone takes some time to cool down. We're not arresting anyone tonight, but I'd suggest you stay away away from your father's residence for a while. She's lying, I said. That may be, he said. But she's the one with injuries. After they left, I called Dad. It went to voicemail. I called again and again. 12 times, he finally answered. Becca, I can't talk right now. Dad, Candace is lying. She grabbed me first. I was just trying to leave and she's at the hospital getting stitches because she fell. She was drunk and she fell, and I think you need to stay away for a while. The words hit me like a physical blow. You don't believe me. Silence. Dad, I'm your daughter. I would never. Candace wouldn't lie to me. And that was it. That was the moment I lost my father. She's manipulating you, I said. Can't you see that? She's been manipulating you since the day you met her. She wanted Mom's money, and now she wants me gone, and she'll say whatever she needs to say to. Enough, he said, and his voice was cold. I don't know who you've become, Becca, but your mother would be ashamed. He hung up. I sat in my closet room and something inside me just broke. I didn't cry. I was beyond crying. I was numb. 2 days later, I got a restraining order in the mail. Temporary, pending a hearing. Candace claimed she feared for her safety, that I had a history of violent outbursts, that I blamed her for my mother's death and had threatened her multiple times. All lies. Every word, but she had evidence. Pictures, a police report, a witness. I had nothing. The hearing was a joke. Candace showed up with a lawyer. She cried on the stand, said she tried so hard to bond with me, to be there for me, but I'd rejected every attempt. She said I was unstable, that I needed help. The judge granted the permanent restraining order. I had to stay at least 500 feet away from her at all times. Since she lived with my father, that meant I had to stay away from him too. I tried calling Dad after the hearing. He didn't answer. I sent him a letter. It came back unopened. I sent an email. He blocked me. Finally, I showed up at his work. I waited in the parking lot for his shift to end. When he came out, he looked right at me and kept walking. Dad, I called out. Please! He got in his car. I'm your daughter. Please just talk to me. He drove away. That was the last time I saw him. That was 10 years ago. I'm 32 now. I finished my degree. It took me 6 years of night classes and working full-time, but I did it. I'm a content writer for a marketing firm. It's not journalism, but it's close enough. I have my own apartment. A real one, not a closet. I have a boyfriend named Marcus who's kind and stable and nothing like my father. I built a life. I went to therapy, lots of therapy. I learned about narcissistic personality disorder. I learned about enablers and codependency. I learned about how grief can make people do terrible things. I learned how to let go. I hadn't thought about my father in months when that text came through. I read it 3 times. Then I read it again. You owe him this much, I laughed. That dark laugh again. I blocked the number. I went back to sleep. The next morning, there was an email from an address I didn't recognize. Rebecca, this is Candace. I know you blocked my number. Your father is dying. He's asking for you. Whatever happened in the past, he's your father. He needs help. We can't afford hospice care. Medicare doesn't cover what he needs. He's in pain. Please, I'm begging you. I stared at the email for a long time. Then I Googled hospice care costs. $8,000 was actually on the low end for the level of care Dad would need. I had the money. I'd been saving. I had almost $40,000 in my savings account. Emergency fund, down payment on a house fund. Future fund $8,000 wouldn't break me, but it wasn't about the money, I wrote back. Candace, I'm sorry my father is sick. I truly am. But I haven't spoken to him in 10 years because he chose you over me. He believed your lies. He allowed you to manipulate him into cutting me off. I tried to maintain a relationship and was met with a restraining order based on false accusations. I owe him nothing. I wish him peace, but I cannot and will not help. Please don't contact me again. I hit send before I could second guess myself. 3 hours later, my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered without thinking. You selfish, heartless witch, Candace. I told you not to contact me. Your father is dying. He's in agony. He can barely breathe. And you're worried about your feelings? About something that happened a decade ago? You mean when you framed me for assault and turned my father against me? I never framed you for anything. You attacked me. You grabbed me first. I barely touched you. You threw me into a table. I took a breath, remembered my therapy. Don't engage with narcissists. They'll twist everything. I'm hanging up now. Wait, she said, and her voice changed. Softer. Wait, please. I'm sorry. I'm just stressed. He's so sick, Rebecca. You should see him. He's not the same man. I'm sure he's not. He talks about you. When he's lucid, he says your name. Something twisted in my chest. I ignored it. He had 10 years to reach out to me. He chose not to. He was ashamed. Of what? Believing you? Of everything. Of what he did to you. With the money? With me. All of it. I didn't say anything. He wanted to contact you so many times, she continued. But he thought you hated him. He thought it was too late. It is too late. It's never too late. He's your father. He stopped being my father when he chose you over me. Silence on the other end. Then, I know you hate me. I understand that. But he's going to die, Rebecca. Soon. If you have any compassion at all. Compassion? You want to talk to me about compassion? You made my life hell. You took everything from me. My father, my mother's memory, my sense of safety in my own family. And now you want me to pay for his care? Where was his compassion when I was working 3 jobs? When I was sleeping in a closet? When I was begging him just to talk to me? He made mistakes. People make mistakes. And people live with the consequences. I hung up, but my hands were shaking. The emails continued. Then texts from other numbers. Then a Facebook message from an account I didn't recognize. All Candace. All saying the same thing. things. He's dying. He needs you. You owe him, please. After a week of this, I told Marcus what was happening. We were having dinner, Thai food from our favorite place. He was telling me about a project at work when I just blurted it out. My father is dying and his wife wants me to pay for his hospice care. Marcus put down his fork. Your father? The one who... Yeah, that one. What did you tell her? No, he nodded slowly. How do you feel about that? That's what I loved about Marcus. He didn't tell me what to do. He asked how I felt. I feel like I'm making the right choice, I said. And I also feel like a terrible person. You're not a terrible person. He's dying, Marcus. I know. What if I regret it? What if he dies and I never got to... I stopped. To what? To hear him apologize? To get some closure? None of that is going to happen. Probably not, Marcus agreed. But you need to do what's right for you, not what some hypothetical future version of you might want. I loved him for that too. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about my father. Not the father who chose Candace over me. Not the father who gambled away my mother's insurance money. The father who put glow-in-the-dark stars on my ceiling. Who taught me how to ride a bike. Who cried when I won the 6th grade spelling bee. The father who existed before mom got sick. At 3 a.m., I did something I hadn't done in years. I Googled him. It didn't take long to find information. People leave digital footprints everywhere these days. He was in a hospice facility in North Las Vegas. The reviews were not good. Understaffed. Patients left in hallways. Wouldn't recommend. Medicare was covering the basic care. But basic and hospice means morphine and a bed. No private room. No extra nursing care. No comfort measures beyond the bare minimum. I found myself on the facility's website, looking at the pricing for upgraded care. Private room, $200 day. Personal nurse, $150 day. Specialized pain management, $100 day. For 2 weeks of care, you'd hit $8,000 easily. I closed the laptop. I wasn't going to do it. I wasn't. The next day, I got a call from a number with a 702 area code. LasVegas.I almost didn't answer, but something made me. Is this Rebecca Chen? Yes? This is Linda Morrison. I'm a social worker at Desert Springs Hospice. I'm calling about your father, Michael Chen. My heart started pounding. He's stable for now, but I wanted to reach out because his wife listed you as next of kin, and there are some decisions that need to be made regarding his care. His wife should make those decisions. A pause. Mrs. Chen isn't actually his wife. Not legally. I sat up straight. What? They never filed the marriage license. I don't know if it was an oversight or intentional, but legally, she has no authority to make medical decisions. You're his only living relative. You're his next of kin. I didn't know what to say. I know this is difficult, Linda continued, but we need someone to sign off on his DNR status. Right now, we're required to resuscitate if his heart stops, unless we have documentation stating otherwise. Does he want a DNR? He's not lucid enough to say, but given his condition, resuscitation would only prolong suffering. It's standard in these cases. What does Candace want? Another pause. Mrs. Chen, Ms. Winters, I should say, wants us to do everything possible. But again, she doesn't have legal authority. My mind was racing. Why did she list me as next of kin if they're not married? I think she assumed you'd be willing to sign whatever she wanted. I probably shouldn't say this, but she seems more concerned about the optics of the situation than your father's comfort. What do you mean? Linda lowered her voice. She's been posting on social media about what a devoted wife she is, how she's caring for him. There are donation links. People have been contributing money for his care. A cold feeling settled in my stomach. How much money? I don't know, but she's been very active online. GoFundMe, Facebook, Instagram. She's telling people that his daughter abandoned him. Of course she was. Can I think about this? I asked. Of course. But if you could let me know soon, I'll call you back tomorrow. I hung up and immediately started searching. It took me 10 minutes to find it. Candace's GoFundMe. Help Michael fight cancer. Abandoned by his daughter. The description made me sick. My beloved husband Michael is dying of pancreatic cancer. He's in agony every day. His only daughter has turned her back on him in his time of need, refusing to help despite having the means to do so. I'm reaching out to the kindness of strangers to help give Michael the dignified, comfortable end he deserves. Every donation helps. Please share. She'd raised $22,000. $22,000. There were comments. What kind of daughter abandons her dying father? Praying for you and Michael. So sorry you're going through this alone. Some people have no heart. God bless you for standing by him. I felt like I was going to throw up. Marcus found me an hour later, still staring at the screen. Babe, you okay? I showed him the GoFundMe. He read it. His jaw tightened. This is fraud. Is it though? He is dying. She is asking for money for his care, but she's lying about you. And she's probably pocketing the money. I don't have proof of that. Marcus sat down next to me. What do you want to do? I want to expose her. I want everyone to know what she really is. Okay, but I also don't want to deal with her. I don't want her in my life. I don't want any of this in my life. Also fair. I looked at him. What would you do? I'm not you, Becca. I didn't go through what you went through. But if you were me, he thought for a long moment, I think I'd want to know the truth about your father. Not what she says, but what he actually thinks. Whether he really was ashamed. Whether he ever wanted to make things right. He's not lucid. The social worker said he's not lucid enough to make medical decisions. That doesn't mean he's never lucid. I knew what Marcus was suggesting, and I knew he was right. I called Linda back the next morning. morning. I want to visit him, I said. Before I make any decisions, I need to see him. Of course. When would you like to come? Today? I'll make sure you have privacy. I drove to Las Vegas that afternoon. Just me. Marcus offered to come, but I needed to do this alone. The facility was worse than I'd imagined. Fluorescent lights. The smell of disinfectant trying and failing to cover other smells. Sounds I didn't want to identify. Linda met me at the front desk. She was kind-faced, middle-aged, with tired eyes. He's had a good morning, she said. Relatively speaking, he's been awake. Talking a little. Is Candace here? She left about an hour ago. I may have mentioned you were coming. Thank you. Room 14. Take your time. I walked down the hall. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I might pass out. I stood outside room 14 for a full minute before I could make myself open the door. The man in the bed didn't look like my father. He was skeletal, yellow. His breathing was labored. There were tubes and wires everywhere, but it was him. I stood in the doorway and he turned his head slowly. Our eyes met. I watched recognition dawn. Watched his expression change. Becca? His voice was barely a whisper. I stepped into the room. Hi, Dad. Tears started running down his face. You came. I pulled a chair up to his bed, sat down. Didn't know what to say. I'm sorry, he whispered. I'm so sorry. And just like that, 10 years of anger cracked open. Why? I asked. Why did you choose her over me? He closed his eyes. I was weak, stupid, grieving. She made me feel alive when everything else felt dead. She lied about me. I know. You got a restraining order against me. I know. Do you? Do you really know what that did to me? He opened his eyes. They were wet. I knew the day I did it, but I'd already gone so far. I thought if I admitted I was wrong, it would mean I'd lost you for nothing. That I'd destroyed our relationship for a woman who, he coughed, gasped. I waited. A woman who never loved me, he finished. She loved the idea of security, of money. When that was gone, she just stayed. I don't know why. Habit, maybe. She's raising money. Saying I abandoned you? A bitter smile. Of course she is. She raised $22,000, Dad. His eyes widened. What? GoFundMe. She's telling everyone you're dying alone because your daughter won't help. That's not true. I know, but everyone else thinks it is. He closed his eyes again. I'll tell them. I'll make a statement or you can barely breathe. You're not making any statements. Then you tell them. Tell them the truth. The truth is complicated. The truth is I destroyed my relationship with my daughter because I was a coward and a fool, he said, with more strength than I'd heard from him since I arrived. The truth is she turned out amazing despite me, not because of me. The truth is I don't deserve you here right now, but I'm grateful you came anyway. I started crying. I didn't mean to. I'd promised myself I wouldn't. I missed you, he said. Every day. Every single day. You could have called. And said what? Sorry I chose a woman who framed you for assault over my own daughter. Sorry I gambled away your mother's insurance money. Sorry I wasn't there when you needed me most. Yes, that. Exactly that. Would you have forgiven me? I thought about it. Really thought about it. I don't know, I said honestly. Maybe not. But at least I would have known you tried. He nodded weakly. That's fair. We sat in silence for a while, just breathing together. The social worker said you need a DNR. I finally said, yes. You're sure? I'm sure. I'm ready. I'm tired. Okay, Becca? Yeah? The money she raised. It's fraud. She's going to keep it. I know. Don't let her get away with it. I smiled despite everything. I'll handle it. That's my girl. I stayed for 2 more hours. We talked about Mom, about the good times before everything went wrong, about the glow-in-the-dark stars. They're still up there, he said. In my mind, every night I look at the ceiling wherever I am and I see them. I see you. 6 years old, making wishes on plastic stars. What did I wish for? You don't remember? No. You wished that we'd be a family forever, that nothing would ever change. I had to leave after that. It was too much. I'll come back, I said. Tomorrow? You don't have to. I want to. I signed the DNR before I left. Linda walked me through it. You're doing the right thing, she said. I know. I drove back to Henderson, to my apartment, to Marcus. I told him everything. Then I got to work. I spent that evening documenting everything. The restraining order, the court documents, the emails from Candace, the timeline of events. I wrote it all out. Clear, factual, no emotion, just facts. Then I went to the GoFundMe page and clicked report campaign. I attached my documentation. I explained that Candace was not legally married to my father, that she'd raised money under false pretenses, that she'd misrepresented my involvement. I hit submit. Then I did something I hadn't done in 10 years. I posted on Facebook. My name is Rebecca Chen. My father, Michael Chen, is dying of pancreatic cancer. I am his daughter, and I am his next of kin. I am not abandoning him. I visited him today. We reconciled. He is receiving care. A GoFundMe has been created in his name by someone claiming to be his wife. They are not married. The funds raised are not being used for his care, as he is already covered by Medicare and hospice services. I've reported the campaign for fraud. If you donated, I encourage you to request a refund. I'm sharing this not for sympathy, but for truth. Thank you. I posted it publicly. Tagged the hospice. Tagged the city. Then I waited. The response was immediate. Within an hour, people started commenting. People who donated. People who knew Candace. People who'd had their suspicions all along. I knew something seemed off. She's always been like this. Filing for a refund now. The GoFundMe was taken down by midnight. Candace called me at 2 a.m. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail. Screaming, crying, calling. Me, every name you can imagine. I saved it. Just in case. I visited Dad every day for the next week. speak. He grew weaker each day, more tired, but he was peaceful. On the fourth day, he asked me about my life, really asked. About my job, my boyfriend, my apartment. I told him everything. You did good, he said. Your mom would be proud. I wish she could have seen it. She can. I believe that. On the sixth day, he asked if I'd forgiven him. I'm working on it, I said honestly. That's all I can ask. On the seventh day, he told me where to find some things. A box in a storage unit. Unit 247. The key was in an envelope in his wallet. What's in it? I asked. Things I saved for you. Letters I wrote but never sent. Photos. Your mom's jewelry. The necklace. I got it back. I stared at him. What? About 5 years ago? I pawned it. Candace pawned it, really. But I tracked it down. Took me 2 years. Cost me more than it was worth, but I got it back. For you? I couldn't speak. There's something else in there, he said. An envelope with money. Dad, it's not much. $12,000. I saved it. Little by little. From work. I kept it hidden. It was supposed to be for your graduation. Or your wedding. Or just for when you needed it. I want you to have it. I don't need it. I know. But take it anyway. Let me give you something. After I took everything away, I took his hand. It was so thin. So fragile. Thank you. I whispered. He died 2 days later. I was there, holding his hand. He drifted off peacefully. The nurse said it was one of the easier passings she'd seen. Candace showed up an hour after he passed. She looked rough, angry. You've ruined everything, she said. I told the truth. You took away his money. Money people wanted to give to help him. Money you were going to steal. I took care of him for 10 years. You isolated him, manipulated him, used him. She laughed bitterly. And what did you do? You abandoned him, left him with nothing. I was here when he died. Where were you? She didn't have an answer for that. I want his things, she said. He would have wanted me to have them. He left a will. You're not in it. Her face went white. You're lying. Dad updated his will 3 years ago. Everything goes to me. Not that there's much, but what there is, it's mine. I'll fight this. With what money? The GoFundMe is gone. You have no claim to his estate. You weren't even legally married. She stared at me with pure hatred. He never loved you, I said quietly. He told me that. In the end, he knew exactly what you were. She turned and left. I never saw her again. The storage unit was exactly where Dad said it would be. Inside the box, I found 317 letters, all addressed to me, all unsent, dating back 10 years. Some were long, some were just a few sentences. I miss you. I'm sorry. I hope you're happy. Photos of me as a kid, of Mom and me, of our family before everything fell apart. Mom's necklace, carefully wrapped in tissue paper, and an envelope with $12,000 in cash, with a note. Becca, this doesn't make up for anything. I know that, but it's a start. I'm proud of you. I always was, even when I couldn't say it. Love, Dad. I sat in that storage unit and read every letter. Some made me angry. Some made me sad. Some made me laugh, remembering inside jokes I'd forgotten we had. But mostly, they made me realize something. People are complicated. Grief is complicated. Forgiveness is complicated. My father made terrible choices. He hurt me deeply. He let someone toxic into our lives and paid the price. But he also tried in his own broken way to make things right. I'm wearing Mom's necklace as I write this. The $12,000 is going into a savings account for something meaningful. I'm not sure what yet. Marcus and I are talking about getting married, maybe starting a family. I think about what kind of mother I want to be, what kind of mistakes I might make. I hope I'll do better than my father did. But I also hope if I mess up, someone will give me the chance he never gave himself, the chance to say sorry, the chance to make it right, the chance to be forgiven. I think that's what Mom would have wanted for both of us.